In the heart of Eastern Europe stands a monument to courage, a fortress that withstood the onslaught of tyranny. The Brest Fortress, located on the banks of the Bug River in Belarus, is not merely a military installation, it is a symbol of unwavering resistance. Today we journey back to June 22, 1941, when against overwhelming odds, a group of Soviet soldiers, driven by duty and honor, fought to defend every stone, every corridor, every heartbeat of this fortress. And among them, one man's solitary stand has echoed through history as the story of the last defender. Before the war shattered lives and landscapes, the Brest Fortress was renowned for its formidable walls and storied past. Built over centuries, its ramparts had witnessed the rise and fall of empires. But on that fateful morning in 1941, the fortress was about to be transformed into the crucible of a heroic stand. As the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, an unthinkable event unfolded. Nazi forces, launching Operation Barbarossa, the largest invasion in the history of warfare, descended upon the Soviet Union. In an instant, the serene morning was shattered by the roar of artillery and the thunder of enemy tanks. Within hours, the defenders of Brest would be forced to confront an enemy that seemed invincible. Thank you for joining us in remembering the heroic stand of the Brest Fortress and its last defender. May this story serve as a lasting tribute to the unyielding spirit of resistance, a spirit that reminds us, even today, of the power of courage and sacrifice. If you found this story moving, please like, share, and subscribe for more historical tales of valor and resilience. At the break of dawn, the enemy struck without mercy. The Nazi forces, well equipped and ruthless, launched a coordinated assault. Artillery shells pounded the walls, and armored columns thundered toward the fortress. The defenders, Soviet soldiers, many of them young and inexperienced, had little time to comprehend the magnitude of the attack. They scrambled to man bunkers, trenches, and the labyrinthine corridors of the fortress. Amid the chaos, courage shone through the darkness. Small groups of defenders rallied to repel the invaders, firing from makeshift positions. In one corridor, where the echo of gunfire met the screams of the wounded, a solitary figure emerged. This was the man who would come to be known as the last defender, a soldier whose determined stand would epitomize the spirit of Brest. Within the besieged fortress, as enemy troops swarmed every available passage, our story turns to one unnamed soldier, a man whose identity may have been lost to time, but whose valor is immortal. Isolated in one of the heavily damaged corridors, he understood that every inch of the fortress was sacred. With his comrades falling one by one and communication lines severed, he took up the mantle of defiance. Armed with only his rifle and a deep, unyielding resolve, he moved stealthily through the ruins of a once proud hall. Every explosion and flash of gunfire only steeled his determination. As the enemy advanced, this lone defender set up an impromptu position near a shattered arched doorway, a relic of the fortress' storied past. From this vantage, he could see the relentless tide of enemy soldiers and tanks converging upon his post. For hours, he held his ground. He repelled wave after wave of attackers, each moment a testament to his grit. In those long, agonizing hours, the corridor became a battleground where the clash of ideals, freedom versus oppression, was fought with every shot fired. Even as the odds mounted, he refused to surrender, understanding that his defiance was not in vain. His sacrifice would kindle the spirit of resistance in the hearts of those who survived. Pause for effect with slow-motion visuals of imagined explosions and flickering candlelight in the darkened corridor. Eyewitnesses, though few and far between, later recounted the eerie sight: a single figure illuminated by the sporadic flashes of artillery, standing resolute, as if defying fate itself. His solitary stand was not merely an act of physical defense, but a powerful symbol of the indomitable will of a people determined to resist the tide of tyranny. In the aftermath of the siege, the story of the Brest Fortress spread like wildfire, a tale of heroism in the face of insurmountable odds. The sacrifice of that lone defender, along with the countless others who fell in battle, became a beacon of hope and resilience. The fortress, though battered and scarred by war, stood as a testament to the spirit of those who had defended it. Today, the memory of the last defender endures. Statues and memorials at Brest Fortress honor the sacrifice of every soldier who fought and died within its walls. His story is taught in history classes and retold in films and books, serving as a reminder that even in our darkest moments, the courage of a single individual can ignite the flame of resistance and hope. As we reflect on the legacy of the Brest Fortress defenders, we are reminded that history is not only measured by battles won or lost, but by the spirit that endures in the hearts of those who dare to stand against injustice. The last defender of the Brest Fortress may have been one man, but his sacrifice embodies the collective courage of a people who, against all odds, refused to surrender. As the hours wore on, the relentless assault began to take its toll. The walls of Brest Fortress were scoured, the corridors choked with dust and debris, and the once echoing halls now resonated with the lament of the fallen. In the final hours of the siege, the situation grew desperate. Communication with other pockets of resistance had long since been lost, and reinforcements were nowhere in sight. Yet, our last defender, his face etched with resolve and sorrow, continued his solitary vigil. Each passing minute was a battle against despair, as he fended off both the enemy's onslaught and the encroaching silence of inevitable defeat. The bitter cold of an early Soviet winter seeped into the stone, and fatigue threatened to overwhelm him. But even as his strength waned, his determination burned brighter than ever. In a final, poignant moment, as the enemy breached the remnants of the fortress's defenses, this brave soul prepared for the end. Surrounded by the echoes of comrades who had given everything, he chose to fight until his final breath. His actions, witnessed by a few hidden survivors, encapsulated the very essence of sacrifice: the willingness to lay down one's life so that the memory of valor might inspire future generations.